Thank you. So my name is Kiara, and I'm with the Houston Critic. We're online.
Okay.
Online, newer, critique blog. We're not.
So you're gonna say
I'm not gonna critique your music.
So you're gonna say we're terrible?
No.
Oh yeah, these terrible guys that are terrible.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, oh my gosh, don't see. No, I'm just kidding.
We're the critically disclaimed band. They hate us.
Really?
Critics hate us.
Okay, save that.
Oh,
save that. I want to hear about that.
I don't know about that. We'll skip over that one.
What? What would you? Why don't you critique some of your favorite critics?
No.
Why don't you critique their writing? Be like, well, I found some grammar mistakes. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's just not nice, you know.
No, I know.
There's no. I guess you can't return evil with evil, I suppose.
You're such a good person. I think that. Awesome.
It's more of a mental thing. I am trying to think that way.
You're just like, I'm gonna meditate on this. Is that what happens when you get like a review? What do you happen when you get like a review you don't like?
I try not to read them first.
You just don't read them at all?
I try not to, because typically the people who are writing them don't really know much about what they're talking about in the first place. And I think a lot of times people's prejudices tend to bleed in. So if they don't like a band's image, it's going to bleed into the fact that they don't like the music. And it's so, because the two do kind of, unfortunately, so go hand in hand at this point. And music, it's about, unfortunately, probably as important, or more important in a lot of cases, than music, which I don't personally like, but that's just what it is.
And I mean, okay, but on a more positive note, because we started off so negative, and let's get some positive karma going. So you're like, there's so many kids here that just like look up to you, listen to your music, they want to be you, you influence them. Who was that for you when you were growing up?
Oh man, when we were coming up, I really liked, I ran the gamut of music I liked. I'm from Iowa, northwest Iowa, so Slipknot was obviously a major factor in what we were into growing up, and then bands like Korn and some of those bands. And then I also got more into that side, and then I also was really into like the punk rock, the Fat Records punk bands that really were the Warped Tour, like what kind of started everything, and all the Epitaph bands, the Pennywise, and then all those bands in that whole that era really influenced me a lot. So I had like this punk rock and this metal like thing. So I guess the influences that probably both bleed into for today and what we do, in probably small variances, but that is definitely what got me interested in this style of music in general, or this subculture, I think. And just the community that there is here at Warped Tour is really something special about it. I think it's kind of a rare thing, because there's a lot of these kids kind of feel like there's no place to go. And I know for me, when I felt like there was no place to go, this community kind of wasn't embracing a lot of me and my friends needed at the time. So it was something we all really fell in love with and wanted to stay connected to. And we're all, at this point, most everybody in my band's like married, and people had kids and things, but we're still connected to it because it was still something that was so impactful and shaped us into who we are today. So I think it's great that Warped Tour, I think it does that for people on a small level, but it's still, I don't know, if you can do that at any level, it's really cool.
Steve, so you've been obviously touring for a long time. How old were you when you started touring?
For Today started touring when I was probably 17 or 18 years old. I started being a band when I was 16. So in 2005. So in next year it'll be 10 years, which is insane.
Happy anniversary!
It's a crazy feeling. Because I mean it's all we've really done since before we were out of high school. So we started touring pretty much right as soon as we got out of high school. I graduated at 17 and we started touring.
Do you remember your first show?
I do. Was
it amazing, or was it like?
It was embarrassing.
Tell me more.
I mean, it's funny because we like played shows with some of these bands and had these conversations. We did covers of bands that we later went on and toured with and stuff, and it makes them feel super uncomfortable, I think, at this point. But I mean, it's just weird. But so we ended up covering some bands, and very poorly, might I add, doing bad covers, and the original songs we had were, if you don't like it now, you definitely wouldn't have liked it then. Yeah, it was.
What was one of those songs? What was one of those covers that you remember?
We covered Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste as per necessary by Norma Jean, and then we covered Boys in the Wells Bachelor, and both of them very poorly.
Oh.
But it was. I'll always remember those songs because they were the songs. They were the first songs that I learned. I was actually in a band with a bunch of guys that were much older than me at the time. So they were into all this stuff that I didn't know anything about. So they were like, "Here, learn this song, learn this song." So I just learned these songs, and that was kind of what really introduced me to this the style of like really like metalcore, I guess.
What is next for you?
Well, we're on the whole entire world tour on main stage. So we'll finish up this tour, and then we're gonna go home for some rest and relaxation. And then we have the tour coming up in the fall, not announced yet. It is going to be a good one. I'm very excited about it.
Album plug?
Yeah, we have a new record out called "Fight the Silence." It is should be in stores everywhere. iTunes, all that stuff. The real premise of the record is there's a big theme of the record. A big premise is anti-human trafficking. It was a cause that we thought was unfortunately unpublicized in our culture. That there's a real epidemic in our world today of people that are being bought and sold like products.
And it's just ignored.
And it's ignored.
It's so much of it going on.
So we wrote a song about it. We did a music video that was kind of about it, raising awareness to it. We were partnering with a company called 821 Campaign that is doing some really awesome stuff in the way of rescuing people from human trafficking, as well as providing legal counsel and prosecuting the people who are violating the law by doing this kind of thing. So they do a lot of great things, from that kind of stuff to even reacclimation into society and counseling and things like that. They do a lot of really great stuff. So we really believe in the company, and so it was just kind of a no-brainer to work with them.
Yeah, it's so great you guys have such a big cause. So involved more than just
Well, and I think the whole
the tour life.
Yeah, exactly. The premise for the whole record in general is we've been a Christian band, and we've always been a Christian band, and it's been a thing that people know about us. I think if you've heard of For Today, at some point you come across the fact that we're a Christian band because we're pretty bold about it. However, we wanted to really point out that demands some sort of action. That we can't be silent and indifferent in what we're doing and say, well, I believe the right thing, so I'm good. It's real faith is going to manifest itself in action. It's going to cause you to do something. It's going to cause you to have a heart for people and care about things that are wrong in the world and care about the injustices and people that are being treated less than. And you just want to, and it's going to drive you to that. So I guess the whole record is fighting the silence of this indifference that we've kind of built up, especially in America, in this like, I go to church on Sunday and that's enough. And the reality is it's not. And I think that's really something we wanted to point out, is that if you say you're something, it's going to bleed into every aspect of your life. And if it's not, then maybe you should reevaluate what you're saying about yourself.
Exactly. So it was great. I wanted to ask also what was the maybe the hardest struggle, like being a Christian or not, Christian band, but without going under that umbrella of like Christian music. Is that gonna so many times about that? Do you face any, not struggles, but being a Christian band, come up with any maybe roadblocks or more than like the typical like
Absolutely.
Metal or hardcore, because everyone's rapping, singing, screaming about pretty vulgar things.
Yeah, that's always been the hurdle we always had to face, is that you're kind of not embraced by either community fully because you're different in a lot of ways, and the Christian community doesn't really fully respect what we do because it's so different from what they are used to. So you kind of get used to being kind of an outcast, but you learn to embrace that and then not let that define you as a bitter person that rejects other people. You learn to be more accepting when people reject you, I think. Exactly, and you don't shoot for that. I don't want to be an outcast. However, I accept that that's what it's going to be, and I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am.
Great. Thank you. Awesome. It was so great meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well. What's your name one more time?
Kiara.
Yo.